Welcome back to the channel. I'm sure most of you are aware by now that Fender has acquired PreSonus Audio Electronics, and lately they've started to bring some of the PreSonus product categories into the Fender world. At the time of filming, if you want to have a look at all of the stuff they're doing with Fender Studio, go to Fender's website, and in the top left-hand corner, you will see the kind of tab layout for Fender, for their custom shop, and now for Fender Studio. It is a real privilege to have any manufacturer send over gear, and as ever, I need to point out that this interface will be returned to Fender when I'm finished with it, and this is not a sponsored video. So at first glance, many folks might think that this looks awfully similar to the Quantum 2626 audio interface that we've seen before, but other than the fact that it's laid out in kind of a similar way with the combo jacks and their controls here, it really is a completely different animal. And at the time of filming, this model is a couple $100 less than what the 2626 sells for. And this model comes with a full perpetual license for the new Fender Studio Pro recording DAW software, which we'll take a look at here in just a couple minutes. It is great to see a locking power connector. Phantom power in this unit is switchable in 2 banks instead of at the channel level. And the first 2 inputs are also set up for high impedance sources like plugging a guitar or bass directly in. Around the back are 8 more TRS line inputs, along with 8 TRS balanced outputs. And finally, we see a pair of MIDI connectors for MIDI in and out, but that's it. There are no digital inputs or outputs on this interface at all. You might be wondering what all the markings on the case here are, and currently as I'm recording this, it is 6 degrees outside where I am and very dry, and the case on these units is very textured, almost like a sandpaper finish, and obviously it wipes clean here, but kind of an unusual texture for a piece of rack gear. For updating and configuring the interface, we have Fender Universal Control, which is a piece of software you can download right off the product page. And with Universal Control, you're able to see all of their hardware that you have attached at one time and keep it up to date from one location, and that's really helpful. With everything up to date, I really do think the draw to these units is going to be that perpetual license to Fender Studio Pro. And like the hardware we've been looking at, they didn't just slap their name on the DAW and call it a day. Fender actually added pages of new features to the initial release, and in the short time since then, they've done another release just a couple of days ago while I was filming this with more additions and a lot of little tweaks and updates to existing features that I would imagine came at least in part from user feedback. The big ticket features that I think are really going to drive interest towards these interfaces for people are the Fender Mustang native and Rumble native DSP amplifier modeling and stomp box effects engines. Mustang native is the guitar version with 39 amp models, 73 stomp boxes, a built-in tuner, and over 200 factory presets. Rumble native is their bass version with 20 amp models, 70 stomp boxes, and over 100 factory presets. I'll link a video in the description here from Fender's official channel on YouTube where Joe Gilder goes through a bunch of these presets and actually plays some examples so you can get a better idea of what's going on. Anytime you're using a plugin like this, latency can be a concern, but you just need to set your buffer size correctly. You'll see a little blue indicator light showing that you have low latency direct monitoring enabled, and then this honestly feels very natural to play. It's not something that I would have an issue with at all as far as latency is concerned. Moving on from the guitar amp modelers and stomp boxes, they've added a whole bunch of other stuff too, including a new studio verb effect, a voice effects plugin, an updated VU meter plugin, which was previously an entirely separate download. They've added a number of features to both the Impact and Sample 1 samplers that are already incredibly powerful. For arrangement and editing tools, they've actually put some AI under the hood to power an audio-to-note conversion tool set called Extract Notes and Extract Beats. Extract Notes works with mono and polyphonic instruments, and Extract Beats is specifically trained on acoustic drums. Now, both of these tools can be used for traditional tasks like making scores from audio that you've recorded, but they can also be used to identify parts and replace them with either virtual instruments or samples, and that can be done much quicker than doing it by hand the old-fashioned way. They've added quite a number of additional controls to the metronome now in a feature they are calling the musical metronome. For mixing and mastering, the big change most people will notice right away is the new channel overview, which gives you a completely different user experience. And as somebody who has favored DAWs like Reaper in the past for how flexible they are to configure and set up the way you like them, the flexibility that this DAW has now for moving things around and really configuring things exactly the way you want them is fantastic. And I have seen a handful of longtime Studio One users express some concern for what Fender might do with this DAW in the future or how they're going to change it. But having had a chance to use it, I think having Fender in control and pushing this and developing this could be the step it takes to really make this the most popular mainstream DAW. For normal people and real musicians and people that work with audio professionally, it's just a very flexible package at a very fair price, and I think everybody's happy to see a perpetual license option these days. The last big feature I'll mention here is the video track and playback that they've added. They've specifically set this up so you can easily drop videos onto the timeline and run full screen borderless video on an external monitor from within the DAW session for either mixing, scoring, or live playback. If you've been watching the channel for some time now, you know that I try to take apart everything that gets sent over so that you can have a look at what's inside. And I'm not going to talk so much over the inside shots this time, because every time I do, the comments teach me that what you're looking for is completely different stuff a lot of times. So I'll just let you have a look and I'll stay out of the way. But I think it's important to remember that the folks that send this gear over also watch the channel, and they also know that I'm going to do this. And there are a lot of brands that don't really like that. And I really, really appreciate the folks that continue to send in gear that are okay with us having a look under the hood. Huge thanks to everybody who likes these videos, leaves comments, and subscribes to the channel, and also to the folks who support the channel over on Patreon. Everything's linked down below, and I look forward to seeing you back here again very soon.